According to analysts, it's also expected to post relatively better results.
All right. Well, off the day's high, just left with losses of 1% for the Nifty, for the Nestle. But let's hope this one as well does not succumb into what we, do in jest call as the curse of the Nifty. But let's move on and talk about stock number 4, Vivek Bharati Infratel. Why is Credit Suisse optimistic on this one?
Well, Credit Suisse has been quite active as far as the entire telecom space is concerned, and also the telecom infrastructure space is concerned. While they are quite negative on the prospects of the entire telecom industry, where they're not so bullish as far as Airtel is concerned, Infratel is one particular name where they've retained their outperform stance. They've kept the target price quite high, 330 rupees a share, where they see the stock start to trade 1 year ahead. And what they're saying at this point of time, the core investment thesis remains the fact that the company actually offers a significantly attractive dividend yield, and which is why they believe that it's a preferred pick within the sector. And they also believe that tenancy, those kind of issues are now bottoming out, and they believe at this point of time it offers it's actually a great value pick as far as the telecom infra space is concerned.
Okay, so that's the Credit Suisse rationale for picking out Bharti Infratel. We have been talking about the metal space being among the top sectoral losers, but interestingly, NMDC is bucking that trend. It's sharply off the day's high, but the key trigger, of course, is the big ET now exclusive. Sources say that the Nagarnar steel plant, which is, of course, something that NMDC has been working on, may now be getting the thumbs up from the government for a demerger. So the DIPAM has essentially floated a cabinet note for sale in NMDC's Nagarnar plant. Of course, the completion of the plant may take a little while more, 10 months perhaps more, but do remember it's a 3 million ton capacity plant, and the PMO seems to have given a go-ahead for demerger of this plant. So that's something that's acting as a key trigger for the stock price of NMDC. 93 now on the cards for this one. Okay, moving on. Swati, yesterday we had the the OMCs buzzing away in trade, and while today most of them seem to be reversing course, HPCL is standing out. So what's your recommendation?
See, Mubin, a technical setup of the HPCL is definitely very positive on the charts. The whole 2019 has been performing really very well in this particular counter. The chart shows that the counter is just trading in the upward rising channel. Also the fact that it is trading above all the important moving averages, say the 100, 50 and 200 DMA. On the technical pattern setups, the stock has given the inverse head and shoulder breakout of 270 levels, and it has just on the verge of touching its 52-week high levels. So the overall setup of this particular counter on the technical parameters is definitely positive. I'm looking for a target of a 330 on the higher side, and the downside it's looking support at 300 levels, 295. So those who are having any long positions, definitely they can hold on with the immediate target of a 330 levels, with the maintaining a trailing stop loss of a 295 to 300 levels on the downside.
All right, so I think Swati seems to be pretty optimistic on the stock. That's HPCL. Pranay, Z Entertainment, meantime, big loser today in trade. What's the trigger?
Well, we've seen that mutual fund borrowers have not really succeeded in having a standstill agreement, and SEBI is seeking some more information on that. That such kind of extension cannot really be granted by the lenders. So it's implied that SEBI is opposing it, and in a way that kind of agreement tends to shortchange the minority shareholders and investors. So that is something which is weighing on the stock right now.
4% gone now for Z Entertainment. Well, back with the metal space, which is the big sectoral loser, Vivek, JSPL.
Very interesting and important note coming in from Morgan Stanley as far as JSPL is concerned. What they've actually written on is the fact that they've gone ahead and revalued the company's international assets, and on the back of that they've cut their target price by 37 rupees a share. See, what they're saying at this point of time, number one, JSPL is a high debt company, but what they're finding comfort in is actually valuation. So they're saying that valuations are quite cheap compared to its relative historic average, and what they're also saying is that despite the weak demand environment, they believe that at this point of time they are expecting better profitability that the company has been showcasing so far to be able to comfortably meet any cash flow requirement and any debt repayment obligations that the company may have. So they have a positive stance on the company. However, they've gone ahead and cut the target price and their valuation multiples, which is why you're seeing the kind of cut or deep gash as far as JSPL is concerned.
Well, yes, and it looks like it may once again slip below that 100 rupee mark. In fact, in his very first television interview, Steel Secretary Binoy Kumar, in conversation with ET Now, says that he does expect an increase in steel demand over the next 1.5 years, and that the recent subs provided by the government will create demand for infrastructure, which will, of course, ultimately benefit the steel industry. Listen in.
I do look forward to a better time for the steel industry in the next 1.5 years, and particularly in the next half of this year there will be an increase in demand, and to that extent I feel that we should look towards the positive side. In the first half there was a lowering of the demand, and to that extent our people did have inventory. And but the positive side was that, or has been, that people have shifted to exports. So last month in August our exports shot up, and that is a very welcome thing, because otherwise we were importing and our exports were down more than 30-35%. Corporate tax reduction, second the housing, third the general environment in which our banking sector is operating. We in the government feel that there will be a further increase in the demand for construction, infrastructure, and automatically the demand for Indian steel will increase. We are also coupling that with keeping a very close watch on our imports.
Okay, that of course was the Steel Secretary speaking to ET Now. Let's look at the RWI small case, see what that one's up to, as we are in the midst of a cut witnessed on the benchmarks in the last day of the trading week. And yes, in line with that, we are in fact seeing underperformance via the RWI small case. Slips below 550. It's a cut of almost about 0.6%. But today on The Money Show, here is what we have lined up for you. Come 29 September, it is World Heart Day. And that's what we on The Money Show want to celebrate, or rather create awareness about. This, of course, with respect to keeping in mind the sort of care you will have to take for your heart and for your wallet as well. And that's where heart insurance, that's a very specific category within the health insurance umbrella, kicks in. So we are going to be talking about that today on The Money Show. And also, over the weekend, we are perhaps going to kickstart all our festive season shopping. So we are going to give you a brief glimpse into what sort of sales are currently available, which categories go on the most sales, and we will be reviewing some of the biggest launches online and see whether they are worth the buck. All of this lined up on today's edition of The Money Show.
In association with Land Rover.
कुछ ऐसा होने वाला है जिसके बारे में मैं और आप सोच भी नहीं सकते।
Startup Expo, India's largest ecosystem of startup success, is back with its fourth powerful edition. And this time it's a funding festival, with over 100 investors coming together and expert sessions on financing.
Investors searching for you, experts rooting for you, partners opening new avenues of growth.
Opportunity is knocking at your door. The Startup Expo, September 28th at Epicenter, Gurgaon.
With ICICI Prudential Life, get life claims in just one day. Wow.
For me, over next 50 years, the world is going to create almost the same wealth that it created last 10,000 years. And India is very sweetly poised with all its technologically capable people who are going to create that wealth. A large portion of the world's wealth will be created using Indian brains within India.
Presented by IDFC First Bank. Co-presented by Wadhwani Foundation. Knowledge partner, OddUp. Software partner, Zoho.
Indian Railway Catering and Tourism Corporation Limited. Initial public offer of 20,160,000 equity shares of face value of Rs 10 each through the book building process in the price band of Rs 315 to Rs 320 per equity share. Bid offer opens on September 30th, closes on October 3rd, 2019. For risk factors and other details, please refer to the Red Herring Prospectus, available on the websites of SEBI, BSE, NSE and the BRLMs to the offer.
BMS Bazaar and ET Now present the next big shift, BMS and AIF Summit 2.0, a summit where you can meet and listen to star fund managers and industry leaders. Watch them discuss enlightening topics. For registrations, visit bmsbazaar.com.
Whatever we do, it's trending. MRF Zapper, always trending.
क्या कर रहा है? अरे हमने जो म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट किया था ना, देख रहा हूँ वो कैसा परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं. इतने ज्यादा रिटर्न्स कैसे? ग्रो पे इन्वेस्ट किया था ना. देख, बैंक्स और एजेंट्स के थ्रू जब इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो उसमें कमीशन भी इन्वॉल्व होता है, बट ग्रो पे नो कमीशन, मतलब उन्हीं म्यूचुअल फंड्स के ज्यादा रिटर्न्स. इसीलिए ब्रो, जब इन्वेस्ट करना हो तो डाउनलोड ग्रो.
Start investing in mutual funds on Grow.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.
बेबी अब तो टाइम पे घर आने लगा.
हाँ तो अब घर ऑफिस के पास जो है.
अरे ग्रोसरी शॉपिंग करता हूँ.
स्टोर सोसाइटी में.
और ये परफेक्ट घर मैजिक ब्रिक्स पे ढूंढा किसने? वो भी 3 साल पुराने प्राइस पे.
अप्रूव किसने किया?
पता बदलता है तो अपने स्मार्ट डिसीजन पे आपको फक्र होता है. तो चुनिए अपना नया पता मैजिक ब्रिक्स पर. प्रॉपर्टी सही मिलेगी यही.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now. Let's quickly continue with the countdown. We were talking about the metal index, but some of its constituents are managing to hold out. NMDC was one. The second one is MOIL. The stock has in fact rallied for the second straight day, and if we look at it from a longer term, out of the last 6 days, we have seen the stock trade in the green for the last 5. Remember, we did have that upgrade from HSBC as well on the back of attractive valuations and rich dividends that MOIL offers. Stock continues to go higher, 6.5% up today in trade. Swati, REC, that stock on the flip side is trading in the red. What's your view?
See, Mubina, the overall view for the long-term perspective is definitely positive, but on a short-term parameters, if I look towards the pattern, on the weekly chart, it has given the breakdown of the head and shoulder pattern, which indicates a cautious signs at the current level. Also, the fact that the momentum indicators such as the RSI showing a negative crossovers from the higher levels. So, at lower levels, currently it has just given a breakdown of a 135-140 levels, which was the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern. So, my view is cautious for a short-term perspective. I will suggest to create a short positions at the current level below 125 levels for a target of 115 with a stop loss for 130 levels on the high side.
All right, there you have it. It's a sell on, REC that Swati is recommending. And Pranay, meantime, Strides continues to trade with losses and fear of the ranitidine drug.
Yes, it's already fallen about 20% in the last 3 days. So a couple of days back, when we had data coming out after Dr. Reddy's also withdrawing the drug from the market, that Strides being one of the major players over here, perhaps could also have to do that since impurities were found in the drug. At that point, it continued to sell, but in the last couple of days when US FDA has asked it to conduct studies on the drug and submit the data in the next 30 days, as of this morning, it has decided to stop sale and supply of such drugs. And since it contributes nearly 10% to the EPS projections of the year as per analysts, that kind of impact is being felt in its stock right now.
Okay, Strides is more than 6% down today as well. So there's been a massive fall in the stock that we have seen. And Vivek, meantime, it's not just slowdown jitters, but now Brexit jitters that Tata Motors is suffering from.
Well, Tata Motors, not too much good news comes from this particular name. So what they're saying is that now they're going to have a planned maintenance shutdown. They're going to shut down their UK factory for a week in November, and this is mainly something that the company is doing to safeguard itself from Brexit worries. What they're also saying is that at this point of time, commentary is quite weak. They're saying demand is something that's not really coming in, and they're also saying overall in China, they aren't seeing too much demand coming in. So overall, given all of these uncertainties that surround Tata Motors, the stock is down 4.5% in today's trading session.
That's Tata Motors, 4% gone, once again below 120 rupees. Take a look at all cargo logistics. The stock continues to go higher today as well in trade. In fact, in this last 1 week, we have seen the stock surge almost 11%. Now, couple of factors. Firstly, it seems to be in acquisition mode. Earlier we had reports that all cargo is looking to acquire a stake in its rival Gati, and now it seems that it is in race to acquire Sikar Logistics. All of these logistics stocks have any which ways today been rallying in trade. All cargo is one of them. In fact, even if you look at a stock like a Snowman Logistics, small cap stock, that one too has hit a 52-week high. So lots of traction seen in this pack and trade. And Swati, along with that, we are also seeing traction in the insurance pack. Put your finger on any of them, even these PSU ones, New India, GIC, all of them are gaining. ICICI Pru is at a 52-week high. Your view here?
Definitely, Bhuvina. This is particular counter is really performing very well. High tops, high bottom formation. It just every day it's quoting a new 52-week high, which is very strong indications on this technical perspectives. I believe this rally is likely to be continued towards at least minimum 480, 490 levels, and whereas on a downside, as per looking towards the previous cluster supports level, it comes to at around 445 to 440 levels. So I believe that this particular counter is really strong. I'm looking for a target of a 480 level. So those who are having any long positions, they can definitely hold on with the immediate stop loss of a 440 for immediate target of a 480 on the higher side.
Okay, that's of course Swati's recommendation on ICICI Pru. But with that, we are completely out of time, so we'll have to wrap it up on this edition of Market Fatafat. Thank you for watching.
वक्त आ गया है कि पाकिस्तान दुनिया को अपनी ताकत का एहसास दिलाए। Engage on target.
नए अपडेट्स हर मिनट ऑन डेली हंट।
IRCTC is the online ticketing arm of Indian Railways with more than 25 million transactions per month and over 0.84 million railway tickets booked per day. It provides catering services on trains and at stations. It manufactures and distributes packaged drinking water, Rail Neer, for Indian Railways network. It provides online air ticketing, tour packages and special tourist trains. IRCTC strengthens and enhances the services provided by Indian Railways.
पुत्रवीर कमाल दिखा अपना, कभी टेबल बन जाता है,